what we've been doing has been going on for years, and so like if people think that we're inventing this new thing or whatever, or that we're destroying metal, we're doing neither. We're just dudes that are just playing tunes. So if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Today we are ranking the albums of Deafheaven, starting with Roads to Judah in 2011. Now, I had previously listened to every album except for this debut at this point, so this was my first time circling back to it. Just 4 tracks, but ranging from nearly 7 minutes to over 12 with the opener, and it takes its time for sure. We're already like 4 minutes in of just pure shoegaze before the blast beats and vocals kick in. It definitely feels like a bit of a prototype for the next album without the same level of sheen to the overall execution, so I can see why this record seems to often get lost in the shuffle when discussing their discography. I will say that in terms of mood, though, it often sounds quite a bit more sad than Sunbather and maybe even like any of the other albums. Language Games is the personal standout for me here. Solid listen, just not something I feel as driven to revisit. I'm going to put this one at good tier. But next up we have Sunbather in 2013. The album that put them on the map from their music to that much discussed at the time pink album cover. Notably written as a duo and marks the arrival of Daniel Tracy on drums. All other albums were recorded as a quintet from what I can see besides this one. Dreamhouse has those pretty beach vibes and great transitions with the drumming that kick things off so great. Incredible song. Also awesome title track, and Please Remember is good as well, but unpopular opinion, I do start to lose some interest in the album around the middle of that one before it rallies again for the closer. Mixed feelings overall. There are things that I love that make me understand why others think that this is like the best thing ever, but also a lot that still makes me stand by my initial take of it being kind of overrated. I did actually appreciate digging up that little interview that I used the snippet from in the intro where the band is admitting that like this is nothing new, you know? Like there are plenty of bands who have been doing a lot of these things, but they just kind of right time, right place, right execution. Also shave like 10 minutes or so, and I think that this could be a perfect album. But I still maintain that there are sounds here that Panopticon does better for me, I think. Ultimately, I'm going to put this one at fantastic. I actually did a full reaction to the 10-year anniversary edition you can check out here on the channel. Also, I do find it funny that I am officially in the AI algorithm as somebody who has called the album just okay. But moving along, we have New Bermuda in 2015. My favorite album cover from the band to date, this being an oil painting done gorgeously by Alison Skolnick, and I remember being more impressed with this record when it came out in comparison to Sunbather. I appreciate what I consider to be the more dark and foreboding march of opener brought to the water, nice chug to the guitars, and leaning much more into the black metal side of their sound with that one as well as on Luna. George's howls sound more grim and the guitar melodies more bleak, but then there's that sudden transition that I actually agree with Metal Sucker once, comparing it to Weezer. Still lots of dreamy, cascading chords, octaves, and errant picking that conjure images of clouds and sunrises, and also love that slide guitar on Comeback, and Gifts for the Earth really gets my head bobbing. This came out the same year as Vatnat Viscar's Settler and Ghostbath's Moonlover, among others, making it a really solid year for the continued explosion of this style at the time. Can't believe it's been a decade since then. My middle daughter, who some of you saw in a recent video, wasn't even born yet. Anyways, an awesome album with lots of great ups and downs. It cuts way down on the repetition and in turn makes those longer track lengths feel more justified. Just more meat on the bone. I'm going to put this one at perfection. Follow that up with Ordinary Corrupt Human Love in 2018. Now, of all the albums I listened to on release, this is the one I actually connected with the least and had very little memory of coming back to it now. Chris Johnson taking over on bass, replacing Stephen Clark. Definitely hearing the continued broadening of scope in the much more experimental opener, You Without End. Piano, more spoken word, different sound to the guitars, and even how the vocals are being approached. I'm on the fence about how much I enjoy it, but I definitely respect it. Lots of return to the warmer, summery sound of Sunbather, if not more so. Lead single Honeycomb hitting a similar stride while also bringing some more traditional rock flavors. Some solid hookier moments on Canary Yellow as well, and some incredible drumming on Glint, and the lovely Night People with Chelsea Wolfe is probably the biggest departure here. I'm not as happy about the increased length of this one, now just crossing an hour. Again, I like the experimentation, but it also feels kind of meandering and unfocused at times. Another one I think that could be a 9 or even like a 10 with some targeted editing down, but as it is, I'm going to put it at great tier. Then we got Infinite Granite in 2021. Now, I remember a lot of people were kind of up in arms about this album when it came out due to almost entirely ditching the harsh vocals and metal elements in favor of pure shoegaze. I did end up posting a meme about it, but frankly, I enjoyed this album a lot and even ended up recommending it to some coworkers who have no interest in metal at all. Gorgeous opener in Shellstar, love just vibing to Lament for Wasps, and then of course I feel like all of the blissful build-up makes those rare harsh vocal eruptions on the likes of Villain and especially closer Mombasa all the more impactful. I also like seeing them play with the shorter runtimes here to keep things more focused and moving along. I won't go so far as to say that I love it, and it's definitely less diverse, but I think with the right expectations, it makes a great summer chill album. I'm also going to put this one at great tier. And that brings us to Lonely People with Power in 2025. Doberman makes for a very strong opener on this one, setting the tone for another more metal-focused record, but also carrying forward plenty of the lessons learned across their career. Continuing strong into the chuggy, very riff-oriented Magnolia that played at the top, this one was giving me a lot of Numenorian vibes, which I consider to be a major compliment again. Revelator is another massively heavy track with an incredible menace to it, just such ominous and foreboding atmosphere to that one. But then alternatively, The Garden Route, Amethyst, and Heathen bring back more of the quiet shoegaze elements with lots of twinkling guitars emphasized further by use of effects pedals. The shimmery qualities of these really contrast nicely with the still very harsh vocals, and they continue to step up the dynamics and memorable elements on these portions as well. Also some very cool and interesting collabs here on Incidental 2 and 3 with Jay Matthews of electronic project Boy Harsher and Paul Banks of Interpol, which, by the way, Turn on the Bright Lights is an amazing album I listened to a ton in college, and the instrumentation on Body Behavior sounds like it could have come straight off of that. And then they really stick the landing with the gigantic build of Winona transitioning into the blissful finale of The Marvelous Orange Tree, giving some Mew energy with a heavier twist. They have stepped up everything here to such an incredible degree and very much converted this one-time hater into a true fan at this point. The production struck me right away. The vocals just feel so sharp, both figuratively and literally, and then combined with the subtle reverb and overall cold atmosphere give it plenty of black metal energy, and yet still the softer portions could go toe-to-toe with the best pure shoegaze bands out there. I expected to appreciate this album, but did not expect to absolutely fall in love with it to the degree that I have. So all that said, I feel like this should be obvious from that glowing review, but I am putting this at perfection, and honestly, I think I like it more than New Bermuda. It's their best so far. Y'all check out this playlist for more black metal rankings, or this for your personal YouTube recommendation. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.